The Marvels reviews are in, and it's a tale of two cities, the most interesting part of which is the way it developed over time. You see, at first, they thought they were winning. The Marvels' first reactions praised the short and sweet, astonishingly wacky film. This is exactly what a comic book movie should be. The Marvels' first reactions called the film an MCU win. I mean, at that point, you probably know there's something a little bit off, considering the MCU doesn't have wins anymore.
There's a hot chick over there, I'm gonna go talk to it.
It's especially dubious when it's followed by a shocking post-credit scene. The post-credit scenes are always pointless, because if it was important footage, they'd put it in the pissing movie. It's astonishingly wacky and a pleasant surprise. Even the people that liked it are still surprised they liked it. My best bit is, in the small print immediately underneath it, it goes, some, however, criticise the villain and an uneven story. As always, in any written media, it's the small print that you really have to pay attention to.
You're pure evil.
But as these reactions came out, the internet started to call the film a light and breezy blockbuster. Initial reactions suggest this is a must-watch Marvel film with plenty of MCU interconnectivity. If you miss out on this, you'll miss out on the story. You have to watch it, otherwise you won't understand the future. They're basically trying to pull the Captain Marvel Mark II, which is weird considering they didn't have enough faith in Brie Larson to actually call it that. And so the call went out across the internet, the Marvels was a success, and Twitter decided to brag about it. Or just wait until the bad people see the positive Marvel reviews. Yeah, I mean, that'll certainly be happening, love. Probably not from the people you're expecting, though. Are the positive reviews in the room with us now? Yes, they are. The Marvels is a great movie. You don't even notice that it's only 105 minutes long. It's over so fast, my brain didn't kick into gear enough to give it an opinion. I need a 2-hour head start just to get the cogs turning. The fight scenes are literally out of this world. And the end credit scene, I screamed. I pulled a soy face so large, I almost unhinged my jaw and ate a parallel galaxy.
There was a lot of eating. There was a lot of food.
Go watch it. I'm serious, and when that guy's serious, you know you have to pay attention, because the Marvels is really good. Brie Larson actually gets to do more this time around, as opposed to what? She had an entire movie last time. And the runtime is perfectly fine, because the directing involved did a tremendous job, for as long as she could be bothered to stick around and actually work on it anyway. We just saw The Marvels. It's one of the most surprising movies so far, bringing fresh air to the MCU. Yes, this movie is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's got cats in it. And lots of women. You've never seen that in a movie before. We took all the good characters you loved and replaced them with ones you don't care about. It's amazing. Next up, when you order a steak, I'm gonna replace it with a kiwi. It's so surprising. A breath of fresh air. You'll never see it coming. This has some jaw-dropping moments, see? Another guy who unhinged his jaw and almost swallowed a galaxy. It's actually a really useful ability at the cinema, as you can shove an entire carton of popcorn in your mouth in one go. Soy face isn't a sign that you've been absolutely destroyed by modernity. No. Instead, it's just the next stage of human evolution. You can eat more and get fatter than ever before.
Have you lost your reptilian-ass mind?
Don't sleep on this movie. Dude, it's only 90 minutes long. If you're worried about people sleeping within that short amount of time, how bad do you actually think it is? I think I could talk about cheese for 90 minutes and still be interesting enough that people don't physically fall asleep. The Marvels is fantastic. The story is heartwarming. This is good. And then we got more MC quotes. People thought The Marvels was over. Well, The Marvels is getting positive reviews, folks. Yeah, this is a message to you, bigots.
You are wrong! All of you are wrong!
That'll teach you to judge a book by its cover and its internals and a historic performance. You were wrong. And I mean, this guy knows his stuff so often, he actually retweeted himself. This video is from a previous tweet of his, and if we click that, everyone who said the MCU would ruin Daredevil in She-Hulk, you were wrong. All of you were wrong. Because She-Hulk, well known for being an incredible series.
Sorry, I'm sad and lonely.
I want a season 2 of it. Making Daredevil do the walk of shame and fall for an absolute insufferable bint didn't ruin the character at all. The walk of shame is actually a good thing. Blokes are renowned for doing it. They do it all the time, you see. Yeah. Something they're really concerned about. It's not like the eternal tactic of word replacement actually applies here, where you can just replace the word modernizing with feminizing. But I mean, when you've already been that wrong in 2022, we just come back and do it again, folks.
It's terrifying.
terrified that one day he'll be discovered as the aging, talentless hack that he really is.
But there is one film critic, one behemoth of intellect that we value above all others, and so this is the section we ask, what does IGN think of it? Rumours of Marvel's demise have been greatly exaggerated. It's great, an 8 out of 10. It really does go higher, further, faster, baby. I don't know what it is, but there's something about IGN calling me baby that makes my skin crawl, and I'm not really sure why. Like, oh no, put it away. The Marvels is a triumph. Been playing Portal recently, have you?
This was a triumph.
Its depths cannot just be seen through the characters, but through the story. The difficulty of being a human when you're perceived as a monolith. I'm sorry, but I really doubt this movie is about anti-collectivization. Considering that's been Hollywood's main tactic for years. Probably not going to throw it out now. I don't have to see it till tomorrow, though, so, you know, thank you, lucky stars. The hilarious and complicated virtues of family. Funny and heartfelt. Nia's debut will have you asking when she and her leading ladies are coming back immediately after the credits roll. And this is a very interesting review. You know why? It's not so much for the review itself, which does have some interesting parts, talking about how Captain Marvel felt like a living, breathing ad for military recruitment. I'm not sure we watched the same movie. She was a fighter pilot. I'm not going to believe that until we've got live footage of them reverse parking. No, the most interesting bit is who this actual review is by. Amelia Emberwing. You know what else Amelia's done? Reviewed She-Hulk for IGN, as you can see there. Do you want to take a guess what she gave She-Hulk in the IGN review? 8 out of 10. Great.
Often said that Marvel movies all end the same way, following some unwritten rule that you have to throw a bunch of plot.
I think this is all you need to know about the Marvels. If you like She-Hulk, you'll like this, and they're of exactly the same quality level. With reviews like that, you can understand why the poster had the original thought. Didn't last long though, did it? And they weren't the only one, because then other reviews started to roll in. More news about the movie came out, and the more people saw, the less they liked it. It turns out that when you show a movie to the world, you very quickly run out of shills. Maybe you can front load them in advance and get all the people on side to give their story first. The narrative doesn't really last though. The post-credit scene got leaked almost immediately and laughed at just as fast. I mean, we are in a time where Bob Iger is going, yeah, you know, we lost some focus on movies, but don't worry, even though those other ones were bad, we've now moved past our fixing Disney stage into our building stage. So the Marvels is the start of Disney building a new Disney, one where they actually have good stuff for once.
We gotta be smart about this.
That's why people started to compare the lowest rated MCU projects. And I mean, yes, it is on top of these 4, but when you're 1% of Secret Invasion, I don't consider that a compliment. I've seen Secret Invasion. If you go around telling people that it's okay to wipe out a planet because a guy on it broke a promise to a 9-year-old, you're automatically some of the worst TV I've ever seen in my life. You can't come back from that. And Disney need to come back from it when they lost $387 million in last quarter just from streaming alone. So how could it fail? How could anyone not like this movie in the new building stage of... well, it's 61% now. I mean, I suppose that's a good thing because it was 55% before. Although if you click top critics, they don't really have the same opinion, do they? If you kind of water it down with some other people, then you can at least make it go above a 5.
It's the principle of the thing.
But I know, Rotten Tomato scores have been manipulated and have been for a while. Led to articles even from places like Collider going, they've been pretty easy to hack. This is how studios have been doing it. And Vulture even came out and said the decomposition of Rotten Tomatoes, the most overrated metric in movies, is erratic, reductive, and easily hacked. And yet it has Hollywood in its grip. And it isn't just Hollywood, because that is how you get narratives like this. That's how you end up with people bragging about how amazing they are. And then suddenly, when the later critics come in and are actually, honest, the clip takes on a very different tone, doesn't it? Ages like spoilt milk. Yeah, it's almost like they were breastfed by their granny. Didn't really have any long-term side effects. It just means they prefer their milk past its sell-by date.
It seems your stupidity is second only to your inability to control your temper.
Because when you do begin to look at the other side of the reviews, you get some very interesting titles. Everything from The Marvels sinks to a new low, you've seen this movie 32 times before, or my personal favourite, The Marvels review, the MCU disappears up its own black hole. This is a solid contender for the worst Marvel film yet. And that has some stiff competition when you put it up next to Quantumania, Thor, Love and Thunder, and Multiverse of Madness. I'm still pissed off over that last one. I really wanted that to be good.
But I guess it doesn't really matter.
But look, not everyone hates it. No, I mean, some people, like The Guardian, they gave it a 3. Funniest thing about that still counts as fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Just to give an idea of how worthwhile a metric that score actually is. Oh, you know, it's average. To say The Marvels is hard to watch would be an understatement. It's not just that it's not very good, it's hard to watch in the sense that a tree is hard to defibrillate. In other words, there is literally no entertainment value even possible in this movie. This is chaotic, ugly, well, that's a little bit harsh. Incoherent picture, barely seems intended for exhibition. Long breaks for utterly fruitless exposition. Of all the movies that I didn't think would have much exposition, it's The Marvels. They already smashed it down to 90 minutes. You wouldn't think there was much time left to talk. And besides, what on earth are they going to talk about? If I needed an in-depth analysis about my exact level of privilege, I'm sure that they'd be able to help. But for everything else, there's MasterCard. What?
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
Our brains are not sufficiently evolved, or perhaps too evolved, to make sense of this chop suey. I have to say, I love the Irish Times, I really do. They were the same people that said Rings of Power hobbits were filthy, hungry simpletons with stage Irish accents. That's $1 billion well spent. These might be my favourite reviews. Halfway down the review, he just goes, "Did you catch Strictly this week? I thought the Rumble, sorry, what? It's really impossible to focus on this stuff." And Nick Fury is back as a dignified janitor. Well, I suppose it's better than Secret Invasion, where he was an undignified janitor. At least he's slowly evolving back into acting like a normal human being. The shortest film is also the most interminable knot of nightmares that groans with the series' now trademark VFX sloppiness. I mean, honestly, considering how much everyone hates this movie, the graphics quality sounds like the least of your issues. I did also read that as a chef film critic, but The Marvels is the 33rd movie in the MCU, and you've seen it 32 times before. That seems a little bit harsh. If this is the worst one, it makes it unique in its own special, memorable way. Like She-Hulk, actually.
I love that you never make any effort at all.
The Marvels Group has been created for maximum bankability. Oh, I don't know about that one, love. I mean, it did only make $6.6 million in America on Thursday. And if you're like, I have absolutely no idea what that means, nor did I. Let's have a comparison. If The Marvels made 6.6 on its first Thursday, well, even The Flash came in with 9.7 million on its Thursday's preview. If you're coming in at about 2/3 of The Flash opening box office, you're gonna be in trouble. Because The Marvels had a budget of at least 270 million, and you can ignore what Screen Rant say they'll need to break even at. It's gonna be a lot more than that. Not that it's really going to matter, because even if it was 450 to break even, well, if we compare it to The Flash's gross overall, they made 270 million in total over its entire run. So The Flash didn't even hit 450 million, and The Marvels is doing about 2/3 of The Flash. You know what that says? That says people agree with the Irish Times, or even at best, even with the most steel man of positions, it means that people are bored of this. That actually everything you liked about the MCU was taken away and just replaced with this. Nobody wants it. They're definitely not going to give you money for it, and that means that you lose a lot of money in trying to do it. This isn't a case of loss of focus. Making The Marvels wasn't an accident. It didn't just happen when you weren't watching. It's not that you didn't try very hard. This can't be successful. That's why your time of fixing won't actually make any difference. Because you've still got all the same people within the company, you've still got the same values and ideas in the company, and so that now, if you enter a stage of building again, all you're doing is building with rotten pillars, which will inevitably cause your entire structure to collapse. So whatever you think you've been fixing, you haven't learned. You haven't admitted it. You haven't come out to the audience and gone down on bended knee to beg their forgiveness for everything you've done over the last years. You haven't wheeled the people out responsible for it and gone, yeah, they're not making more movies, mate. We've learned that their entire ideology is abhorrent to the world. That it inevitably creates things which repulse people and attracts a customer base that just doesn't get people into the cinema. Nobody is going to watch your movie when your fans are going around throwing slurs at people, or just decide to go out and show basic bigotry. So yes, The Marvels is over, and people will be out there screaming, but it doesn't matter how much you you're not going to make this one a financial success, or even remembered. Except when people mention it in the same breath as Quantumania, Thor, Love and Thunder, and Multiverse of Madness, anyway. And that's not a good thing. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.